Welcome back to the Be Shine podcast. In this episode, it gets personal. My guest today is a first ever guest who's a family member of mine. We talked about the future of my nephew, how to approach celebrities on the street, the Sunset Film Festival, The Rock, Jonah Hill, movies, and tons more. We had a blast, and I know you will too. So without further ado, please welcome my brother-in-law, Mike. So what'd you do on your time off? You had some days off.
Rachel was on a ski trip. So I had just me and Ari for 3 days. And it's about me finding a way to entertain a 7-year-old for a long time. Managed to do it.
That's good.
It's feeding him with food that is probably not good for him. Occasional vegetable. Finding activities. We went to a comic book show. We went to a toy show. A couple toy stores to find we're hunting down vintage Ninja Turtles toys now because he's going through every episode of the original Ninja Turtle show. I got a box set that came in like a miniature turtle van. It's like 25 discs, 192 episodes. He started it back in November, and I think he's got like maybe 15, 20 episodes left, which is like 2 a day on the weekdays.
I saw there was a picture of him eating pancakes. They look good.
Well, he loves pancakes. So the good thing is the best thing about having a birthday is that I'm on a lot of rewards programs because gotta love rewards programs, and they all send you free stuff around your birthday. So free stack of pancakes from IHOP, free burger here, free dessert here, Krispy Kreme, free dozen donuts, a whole dozen for nothing. It's great, and you know how much I enjoy food.
Yeah.
So I usually just spend the week of my birthday just redeeming a bunch of free stuff. So free pancakes for me. Just had to pay for Ari's breakfast. Went to Red Robin, free burger. Just had to pay for his. It's great.
That is really nice.
It's really nice.
Are there any places that do like kids eat free anymore?
They do. So Red Robin does kids eat free Wednesday nights. IHOP does them I think dinner time because I guess a lot of people go to IHOP for dinner. And there's other places that do it. It's usually like one night of the week. Usually they'll be like kids eat free. But to be honest, the kids eat free is not that great of a deal because most of the kids' meals are like $5, $6, or
Right.
It's like you're saving a little bit, but it is what it is.
We were playing the soundtrack to a movie. I think it was like a Ninja Turtles movie, a newer one. And there's like a Vanilla Ice song on there.
Yeah, it's Ninja Turtles 2, Secret of the Ooze. We have that soundtrack at home and already listen to it quite frequently. I have it on a CD.
Yeah, it's so crazy to think that he knows like a Vanilla Ice song, but he has no idea like who
idea.
What it is or anything.
No idea. I mean, there's also I think there's other rap songs on there from artists he would have never heard of either.
Older songs.
Yeah, because right? The movie's from 1992. So, yeah.
Oh, he has the 92 soundtrack.
Yeah, it's from the second Turtles movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Vanilla Ice Ninja. He actually sings that song in the movie.
Yeah.
And then the Turtles are dancing in the club. We were in the car and No Sleep Till Brooklyn came on.
Nice.
And he recognized it as that song from Secret Life of Pets. So, yeah, that's where I'm at with my musical tastes. He'll hear a song that's from a song from when I was a kid, and he'll be like, "Oh, it's from that kid's movie." And I was like, "Yeah, I guess technically you're right," but it's like, "Oh, the Beastie Boys are that song from Secret Life of Pets now."
Yeah.
So, that's the age I'm at.
But I was thinking about it, how kids will discover music nowadays, and we obviously can't expect it to be the same way we did because we didn't have the internet when we were when we were younger. So they're going to get it from, everything's so saturated now. So do you ever wonder what's he going to grow up and listen to and is it going to be of any substance or just what's popular?
I do. So basically I have a plastic tub full of all my CDs. So, and we still have my wife's old boombox that we keep in the dining room table. So he'll put CDs in and he'll play it like Michael Jackson's Number Ones, or really likes the Beatles.
So he only has the selection from your box.
From my box. Or, if we're driving in the car, I usually just put the music on my phone on I don't do Spotify or anything, but I have all the music and MP3s loaded onto my phone. And I'll just put it on random and just cycle through songs, and he'll listen to songs that way. I don't know how much he's absorbing, but I do wonder about that, how to get into stuff. Because I'll be honest, I think most of the music that comes out nowadays is pretty awful. I I can't remember the last like new music that I really listened to. Like I don't really find it very good. I mean, I know people would vehemently disagree with me about a lot of things, but there's just not music anymore that I'm like into. I don't listen to music as much as I used to.
Same. There's actually, I think, some statistics. Obviously, I don't have anything with me now, but that music listenership is going down simply because there's other forms of entertainment, like podcasts being one of them. People listen to podcasts more and music less. So it's kind of interesting.
I think podcasts are more entertaining and informational. So you're like getting something out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously the Grammys were the other night, and I don't watch the Grammys because I've heard of some of those people, but then there's like a lot of people who get nominated. And I'm like, I don't even know who these people are.
Mm-hmm.
Or like most of the people who work for me like are under 30, or most of them are under 25. And they'll talk about musical stuff, and I'll have no idea who the people they're talking about are, like bands and artists. And being in Philadelphia, like I remember years ago, we'll occasionally get like local rap artists who come in and like shop, and they're like, I remember one time helping this guy, and he was a nice guy, and I helped him buy like a jacket, and like after he left, the guys were like, "Hey, do you know who that was?"
This is at your store?
At my store. They're like, "Do you know who that was? Do you know who that was?" And they were like freaking out. I was like, "No." They're like, "That was Lil Uzi Vert," and I'm like, "I have no idea who that is." I'm like,
yeah. How would you know unless you watch his videos? Why would you?
But even though they used to recognize like a lot of the guys years ago who used to work for me were very much into hip hop, and they would recognize like local rappers, and I'd be like, no. Like I recognized Lil Wayne when he came in. I knew who that was, but he's like popular.
Would you know if like Freeway came in? Freeway, Beanie Siegel, Petey Crack?
No.
Oh,
I would not know who those guys are.
Schoolie D.
I've heard of them. I don't know. I wouldn't recognize them. I couldn't probably pick them out of.
Oh, like the OG rappers.
Yeah.
I mean, all the ones I named aside from Schoolie D were on Rockefeller label with Jay-Z. So
yeah, I am not the one to recognize like hip hop. Even when I used to listen to the only way I even got into hip hop was in college. My roommate for 3 years, my boy Larry, who's still a DJ to this day, used to play hip hop in our room. So I would listen to like Biz Markie and like old DMX, which I actually used to like because it made me laugh because of how angry his songs are. Like it was just amusing to me that one person could just be so angry on a song. And then there's like even stuff from like the 70s. I can't think of like what the name of it is, but like Houdini and stuff like that. So he'd play like a lot of old stuff. And then he used to make like beats where it was like songs mixed with beats, like
blends.
Yeah, like so he would do like had sent me a CD one time. Like I remember the ones that has like it's like Soulja Boy mixed with the Super Mario theme, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Or like he would use 80s songs and like update them with newer beats, and I used to really like that stuff.
Those are cool. I think they call them mashups.
Yeah, mashups.
One of the first ones I remember listening to, really liking, I was in Vegas one time. It was like 2007, and we were in this bar, and they were playing the instrumental to Sweet Home Alabama, but the acapella over it was Nelly's Country Grammar.
Yeah.
And it sounded amazing.
I always think mashups can sound really cool. I don't feel like people do them that much. Like usually it's like you hear it in like a club or something like that. It's not like what people wouldn't put like, it's not the same as like using when like rap artists like use the beats in their songs for like, I feel like that's not the same thing.
Like, no, it's a completely different thing because they would probably never do that in
like
the
a sample.
studio.
That's what I'm talking about. It's like not the same as like sampling.
I mean, that's why DJs are so important, because they do things that you don't do in the studio. They do things in the club, and it's all about getting people or drawing a crowd and reading the crowd and having good song selections. Everybody has an amazing time and they keep coming back.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of DJs don't just play music, but they make their own remixes, and then they're technical, so they're blending and they're cutting up different songs.
Well, speaking of DJs, it's actually funny. So the Philadelphia Phillies announced like their promotional schedule for the year, and they're having a couple of games are having like post-game concerts, and one of them is Shaq, and he's going to be DJing after a Phillies game.
He'd been a DJ for a while.
I feel like I want to check that out.
Yeah, he's been a DJ for a long time.
I know, but I still feel like I want to check it out. Just be like, I've seen Shaq DJ because I love Shaq.
I would love to go to that. What, do you have to go to the game to see him?
We have to have tickets to the game. So you could show up in like the 8th inning and just be like, I'm here for the Shaq.
Well, I'll go to the game. Let me know when it is.
I think it would be cool. I think it's sometime in the summertime.
Mm.
But yeah, it's cool because I mean I love Shaq. How do you not love
Shaq's an OG. He was he rapped and he had a couple albums, Shaq Diesel.
Yep.
And he had this, his most popular song was with the Fushnikins. It was
I remember that.
What's Up, Doc?
Yeah, because that's when he was trying to be a movie star and making bad movies like Kazam and Steel.
Oh yeah.
There was even there was a Shaq Fu Super Nintendo game. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a cool game. Shaq Fu Shazam was his movie. But whatever.
Kazam.
Oh, Kazam.
Yeah, Kazam.
He's such a likable guy.
He is. He definitely, I always say this about like celebrities is like, I feel like you can see a celebrity and kind of think, oh, that guy would be really cool to meet in real life. And other people, you'd be like, I feel like if I met him, I probably wouldn't like him that much. And I feel like a lot of people come out, like, I remember like, I did 3 years volunteering at Sundance Film Festival back in like the early 2010s. And so I got the chance to like meet like a lot of celebrities while I was working there. And there's definitely, you can tell, like some people are like incredibly nice and some people are just like not. And I'm like, it's weird to me that you'd be just like not nice to people as in general.
Yeah, I've met a lot of people in my travels and you never know when somebody's going to surprise you, whether they're going to be super nice or not. And it's cool. But I think with Shaq, you can get a sense that he's unequivocally like a genuine guy that just likes to have fun and very likable based on he's in every industry he succeeds, right?
Yeah, I've seen things about him that like he will only like invests in like a lot of companies, but he only invests in companies of products that he uses. So he just won't like randomly take money to do like an ad. Like he has to be invested in the company. I saw some story about how he saw some like, it's like a Ring type thing with like the home security camera and he really liked it. And he got in contact with the guy who owned the company. It was a small business at the time and was like, I'll do ads for you for free for like a portion of the company. And yeah, and the business went up insane.
That's amazing.
Because he like found a product, he liked it. So he's like, I like this product. I want to endorse it. I'm like, that's respect. I think that's respect right there. Because a lot of people just take the money and they're just like, just give me the Subway sandwich and I'll say it's great.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that he vouches for every product because he's in so many commercials.
Yeah. I mean, he owns Papa John. He owns a bunch of Papa John's franchises. He does the General, Icy Hot, a bunch of other things. But yeah.
That's funny.
So working at Sundance, I came up with I have like a secret to talking to celebrities.
Oh, you worked at Sundance?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did it for 3 years. So I worked in there basically like selling merch. But it was cool because I got to work in the big theater they have there in Park City is called Eccles, which is the theater at the local high school. So that's where they have the most seats. It's where they have all the big premieres. And they set up like a small clamshell in the lobby.
But how do you get to work for Sundance?
Just apply.
Okay.
You literally just apply and then
made the cut.
It's a volunteer thing. So like if you go, there's very limited like paid housing. So if you go, you basically got to pay your own way. So thankfully, the first and third year that I did it, I was actually able to get housing through Sundance. So I didn't have to pay for it. Second year I did. But it was a great experience. Plus like, because of my position, like, because it was set up in the lobby of the theater, right? So, when there's not a movie, people are like shopping. Obviously, people aren't there shopping like during the movie. So we would then just take turns kind of going to see these movies. So I think my first year I saw like 19 movies. I think my second year I saw 21 and like 15 or 16 my third year. And this was in like 10 days. So I saw a lot. Then I got to meet a lot of cool people. So I would say my favorite celebrity interaction in 3 years was Jason Ritter.
I don't know what's he in.
So I'll tell you the story. So I was at like some party get together thing, and I saw him. At the time, he had been in this TV show called The Event, which unfortunately was on one season and kind of like got canceled. It was a really cool like Lost type show with like a weird mystery and some alien stuff. And I thought it was awesome, but it got canceled unfortunately. And so I was like, and he was also in the movie Freddy vs. Jason, which I also love. It's a cult classic. So like I kind of went up to him. I was like, hey man, I just want to say like, I really, really like The Event. really bummed that they didn't go after one season. And he's like, oh, that's really cool, man. Thanks. And I was like, oh, and by the way, I really like Freddy vs. Jason too. I've seen that movie a million times. Like, really? I also love that movie and nobody ever asked me about it. And then I proceeded to talk to him for like 25 minutes. And he started to tell me some of the stuff that they were supposed to do if they would have done it if like Event came back for like season 2. And it was a really cool conversation.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna guess what you're gonna say as far as your secret to having celebrity conversations. Because if you treat them like a celebrity, they're gonna treat you like a fan.
Yes.
So I imagine that the trick would be to know something about them, something unique about them that not everybody knows, which is hard to do if you don't know you're going to see a certain person.
I don't know if it's necessarily of that. I think you can be a fan and have a good conversation about something. I think the key is finding something that they would not generally be asked about. So like, if you're going to meet Daniel Radcliffe, right? He probably doesn't want to talk about Harry Potter, right? Because everybody asks him about Harry Potter. But he's got other cool movies like Guns Akimbo, or he just did the Weird Al movie that he's probably way more excited to talk about than that. So most people I like who I want to talk to, like I've seen stuff that not just mainstream, but other stuff that's like independent. So I'd much rather talk about that. And then because you can go from there and then they'll probably have a longer conversation with you. Because they'll only be like, oh, I love Harry Potter so much. Be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. But if you see somebody, you have to really think quick to do that.
Yeah.
Right? Like I saw Bill Murray on Park Ave in New York a couple of years ago. And I basically ran up to him. It was like 10 o'clock at night. I ran up to him like half a block away. Not like ran, but like walked hastily before he, left the hotel entrance. And I introduced myself because I wanted to show him that I'm like treating him like a human being. Say, hey, I just want to say hi. My name's Brian, big fan. And then he was trying to like walk into his car with somebody. And I said, oh, do you live in New York? And he's like, you call this living? And then I said, haha. And then I was like, he was just going to his car. So, hey, appreciate it. Do you mind if I just grab a picture real quick? And he was nice. And, he's nice enough, did it. And then he went on his way. But that's a situation where I pretty much added no value to him, but I was at least nice enough to not be like, just take, and then run away.
Yeah, I think kindness is the key with that kind of stuff.
So what would you say if you saw Bill Murray?
That's a weird one because Bill's kind of known to be like show up in weird places and just kind of be his own thing. I don't know if there's anything you could really. I think Bill's just going to make the decision no matter what you say to him.
Oh, I see. Yeah, but he could definitely know that like something could spark an interest in him.
Yeah.
So like if you're
coming, I'll be like, how's your golf game going?
All right.
Like, because he's big into golf.
That's good.
Like how's your golf season going?
My favorite Bill Murray movie is Groundhog Day.
It's a great movie.
So who else did you see at Sundance?
Oof. I remember watching Spike Lee berate somebody before his movie. I met Mark Ruffalo, which was pretty awesome. He was super nice. I went to, because there's a lot of panels and stuff too. And after the panels, a lot of times they'll stay and like talk. And so I got to meet like Elijah Wood, Kate Flannery from like The Office. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, big fan. I think my favorite celebrity interaction though ever was when I got to meet Bruce Willis when he came into my store to shop.
Oh, that's cool.
Because Die Hard is my all-time favorite movie.
I didn't know that.
And it was funny because like the week before he came in, a couple days before, his like, I guess his was like assistant / producer came in and we were talking to him and he like was buying stuff. I don't know how we got into it, but he was buying stuff like for Bruce. And we got to talk to him. And when he left, we like looked him up so we knew he was like legit. And we were talking and I was like, oh yeah, that's really cool. Because they were filming, I believe it was like Glass, my M. Night Shyamalan movie Glass at the time, which is because he films all his movies in Philly. And he was like, I was like, oh yeah, Die Hard is my favorite movie. That's really cool. I can't wait. He's like, oh, I'll bring Bruce by sometime. And I just thought he was being nice. Like, this is whatever. So 2 days pass. I'm like upstairs and I'm like doing some work. I'm changing like mannequins or something like that. And I hear over my walkie-talkie, because we have like earpieces. It's like, Mike, there's a customer coming up the stairs. Try not to freak out. And I was like, oh, what's that mean? And I like look over, and then Bruce Willis is like walking up the stairs. And immediately, like, I start like sweating. I was like so nervous. I was like, oh my God, it's Bruce Willis. And all I did was shake his hand. I was like, hey man, it's really, really nice to meet you. And I didn't really say much to him because I was like I was like nervous. I was like kind of a bit starstruck. And he came and went. He was nice enough. And then like 2 days later, he came back in and I helped him again. That time I had a little bit more of a conversation with him. And he bought some stuff. And it was just really cool. I was like, I just met Bruce Willis. That was pretty awesome. And he was a really nice guy. Apparently he's very shy in real life. Very shy.
Oh, okay. He seems really cool. I love watching. I've watched it countless times, the Comedy Central roast of him.
Oh, all those Comedy Central roasts are great.
They're all amazing.
All great.
Because they're so mean, but it's amazing. He seems pretty cool. The nicest celebrities I can remember meeting would be like Snoop Dogg. He was like, he's as cool as you would think he is. Super laid back.
Seems like a nice guy.
Swiss Beats also. He's married to Alicia Keys. Be Real from Cypress Hill. Super cool out in LA.
I don't think I've had what I would say would be like a bad like celebrity interaction. Like what I would consider bad. Like where someone was like just rude to me. I don't know.
That's good.
Kind of lucky, yeah.
Well, then you haven't been around enough celebrities.
I guess so.
I've been around where people were just like backstage at certain events. People have their security like move people out the way and like yell at people. And it's just like, come on.
I think I just kind of try and read the situation and have generally avoided if I think it's going to go bad. Like if I don't think it's the right time, I would just be like, I'm good. I did have do you know who Edward James Olmos is?
No.
He's like an actor. He was in Stand and Deliver back in the 80s. He was like nominated for an Oscar.
No.
But he, one time he came into the theater I was working and I was like talking to him. I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? And I was like talking to him for a while. I'm like, hey, do you mind if I get a picture? He's like, I'll get you after the movie. Because he was going to the movie.
You're like, whatever.
I was like, yeah, that's fine. And I was like literally in the lobby. And then the movie ended and he left and he didn't say anything. I was like, did I get stiffed by Edward James Olmos? It's kind of weird. Okay.
What an asshole. No, I'm kidding. No, it's cool.
It's okay. I'm over it.
What would you say to Jonah Hill if you saw him on the street? Because he gets a bad rap for not being friendly, but that's because
it's funny you're going to say that because he does strike me as a person who, if I met him, not sure if we would click, but who knows?
I think he's just so annoyed with the same nonsense about like either his weight or just really dumb questions, and that's that. I mean, I side with him. Like the media they like to get a reaction out of, so they're going to do that, and so now he gets painted as this like unfriendly person. But how would you approach him?
It's a good question. I don't know. I'd have to find something. I'm like, hey man, I really enjoyed the Jump Street movies because they're those are really, really funny. Also, I think I've watched Moneyball like 100 times. I really love that movie. It's so rewatchable. Like I can jump in anywhere in that movie and just like finish it. It's really good.
So let's talk about the beginning of your movie interest. How did you first, probably as a kid, you would just watch tons of movies, or how'd you get into them?
Yeah, I remember starting to get into movies probably early teens, I think. Like I'd watch movies, but then I think my best friend and I, Luke, we would really like to go to movies, and our parents wanted to take us to the movies because we weren't old enough to drive. And then I just started collecting VHS tapes and collecting movies, and we'd go to like Blockbuster Video or West Coast Video and like rent movies. And then I think also the one video store near us was like closing, and they were just like basically like selling movies for super cheap, movie posters for super cheap. And we were going using them with money that we had from our part-time jobs and like buying VHS tapes. Before I know it, I just had this like huge collection of VHS tapes and movie posters that I never would hang up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, I don't know why. It's always, I find that like at the movies, I'm just very relaxed. Like it's nice to just like sit in a movie theater and only have one thing to pay attention to. Like I much prefer to watch a movie in a theater than at home.
Well, it's a lot nicer now because there's assigned seating.
Yes, it's great.
And the like lounge chairs.
Even though part of me misses the anticipation of like waiting in line and, I remember when I was in college and Attack of the Clones came out, the second new Star Wars movie, and me and three of the guys I was going to school with, we actually drove to New York City to see a midnight screening at the Ziegfeld Theater, which is like a famous theater in New York. And we got there we got in the city really early. We went to Carnegie Deli, got sandwiches, and then we went and we got in line, and there was tons of people dressed up. People were having fake lightsaber fights. And I'm thinking to myself, nowadays that stuff probably wouldn't happen because everyone just has an assigned seat and you can show up 5 minutes before the movie and you're good. So you kind of lose the enjoyment of anticipating with other people that we're going to get in the movie, and stuff like that.
I remember, you'd be at the box office and you're like, 2 tickets for this. And they were like, it's sold out.
Sold out.
And then you're like, oh, what else can we see?
Yeah.
See what's coming in the next 30 minutes. And then you just pick something and go.
So yeah, it's nice to have that assigned seating because you can sit where you want. Part of me does miss that. Because it becomes you form a camaraderie with people in line and you start talking about movies and you start talking about things like that. And people you don't even know. And you're just talking about stuff. And it's fun.
Those days are gone. It's crazy.
They're very gone.
For a lot of things, a lot of old school things are gone.
I think a lot of anticipation has gone from a lot of things now because everything's so instant.
Because it's so triggering.
Yeah. That's why I always say, I still prefer an episode a week to binge watching.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because when we get spoiled, that's just what we want now. But yeah, I think it's nice.
It's nice because I'll take an example. So right now, I don't know if you're watching The Last of Us on HBO. It's the new show based on the video game. Show's awesome, right? It's once a week. Tons of people are watching it, including a couple people I work with. So I'm watching it with my wife, which is awesome. And it's cool because you look forward to it every week. And then I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to go to work and talk about this with people at work, right? But if they released them all at the same time, everyone watched it at a different pace. So if you're finished and someone's only on episode 3, then you're like, oh, we can't talk about it because you're going to spoil it.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's just if it's 9 or 10 episodes, that's 2.5, 3 months of conversations that you can have with people about the same show. And it's awesome because you always have something new to talk about.
So Game of Thrones was kind of like that where every Sunday you would see it. So people would just make
Appointment
sure.
TV?
Appointment TV, yeah.
It's I remember when I was in high school and Seinfeld was the big thing. And it was on every Thursday at 9:00. And if you didn't catch it at 9:00 on Thursday, you'd come into school Friday morning and you'd probably have nothing to talk about with your friends because they'd all be talking about that episode from the night before and you'd be completely lost.
Yeah, we used to have a VHS recorder. So you could set it to record at a certain time. That was kind of cool to do. And then it was even cooler when you could fast forward through the commercials.
Yeah. Well, now I have DVR and you can do the same thing.
Yeah. But that was the first of its kind.
But that's the difference between, once a week and binge watching. So I watch Stranger Things, right? Stranger Things comes out on Netflix on a Friday. They put all the episodes out at one time. And I finish them in 3 days. And then you maybe talk about with people who finished it, but that lasts for a week. And then the conversation's over and you forget about it till the new season comes on. Whereas this Last of Us, this conversation is going to last for 3 months or more. So
it'll last the entirety of how long the season
lasts.
Which
is fun, but it's more fun.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now it's just it's literally binging the entertainment and then it's gone. And then in a week after that, you have so much less to say about it.
And I think a lot of streamers are going away from that. So Netflix really seems to be the only one who does that with all their shows. Prime doesn't with some, but they'll drop 2 or 3 and then once a week.
So Netflix is one of the few that just drops it all at once.
Everything. They don't do any once a week stuff, I don't believe.
I was talking to someone the other day who said that they wait when a company doesn't do that and they release it every week. This person will wait till the end and then binge.
I don't have the willpower for that. It's also why I still ride with cable. I like cable. I'm a big fan still. I like being able to watch watch a show when it's on versus waiting 6 months for it to come to a streamer.
So
I enjoy being in the conversation because I like a lot of the other podcasts and things I read are about current pop culture and TV and movies. So if I'm not watching that stuff, then I don't really know. I can't really keep up with the conversation. So I like being able to kind of keep up with that stuff and be in the know, and it's fun.
So you like to watch network TV?
I do both, network and streaming.
Yeah. What do you like on network?
I would say each day of the week, there's probably something that I'm recording on DVR. from all different things. So there's stuff from CBS, NBC, HBO, FX, USA, all those different things. There's at least one show.
That's cool. For years, I've only had internet, and I have the YouTube Premium subscription, so I don't get commercials, and I can download videos to watch offline, or it can play even when your phone screen is closed. So it's a lot of cool features, but I only watch, most of my content is consumed on YouTube. And it can be like clips from CBS or, news stations, or it's podcasts, it's music, it's interviews, it's pretty much anything. And I just get it all in, just all on YouTube. So it's interesting to think about how it's all changed from having a TV to, buying like VHSs and then DVDs. And now it's just my phone is pretty much like the main source of, or on my TV here, I use the YouTube app, and it's just so much, everything's so digestible. And there's some movies you can get or rent or whatever. So to me, they're like, that's all I need.
And it's funny when my 7-year-old, like, who is like an expert streamer, like knows all the channels and how to do everything. But then if he watches something on cable and it has like commercials, he doesn't understand why you can't fast forward to the commercials. Like, he's just like, oh, aren't you recording it? I'm like, yeah, but we're watching it live, so I can't. You can't fast forward till after the recording's done.
Stuff that you never thought you'd ever have to explain to somebody. When were you really like, I watch movies every week? I don't know how often you watch a movie, but
probably pretty decent. I mean, I have that membership to AMC where you can see up to like 3 movies per week. I never see 3 movies a week, but I usually go once or twice a month at least to the movies. And then whatever's, occasionally I watch stuff at home. But like I said, I really prefer going to the movies. I feel like when I'm at home, there's just too many distractions, and I feel like I can get distracted pretty easily. So, because you have like computers, phones, and other people. But at the theater, you're like, boom, right on. No matter how good of a system you can put together at home, it ain't going to be a movie theater.
So do you buy food at the theater? Because that'll double your price.
Depends. Not generally. I'm more of an icy guy, but not too much of a food guy there. If I am, I'm usually bringing my own.
Yeah, I'll sneak stuff in.
Candy. I don't think they really care anymore. No one checks. I actually went to see a movie last night, and I saw somebody carrying like Chick-fil-A into the theater, so I don't think they really care as much.
It used to be a thing, like you really got high. They might check. They might check your bag.
They did used to check.
I don't think anymore.
No, they don't care. And I hate to say that, I don't think they pay the people at theaters enough to really care if people are bringing in outside food.
No.
Yeah, they don't really care.
But you post like online, you post like your top favorite movies, maybe like of the year.
Yeah.
Or
I usually post my top 10 favorite movies of the year. It's not best movies of the year. It's just my favorite movies of the year. And then I usually post my top 5 worst movies of the year as well.
You can take the name of an actor and think about like a whole bunch of movies they did and rate the movies that they did.
Yeah, I did that during the pandemic when everyone was kind of stuck at home. I was like, did that a couple times. I was like, give me an actor and I'll name my top 3 favorite movies of that person. People really into that one, actually. I got a lot of responses on that one.
I threw a few names in there. I can't remember, but you watch movies a lot more than the average person would.
I would say that's probably true.
And is it something that you can turn it into something? Like you could be like a Siskel Ebert type of thing? Not like you would want to be that, but like you could put something together where something more official that you might be able to generate a sponsor from. You know what I mean? Because the wealth of knowledge you have about movies, like you could talk about it more on some kind of platform. Do you ever think about that?
I think about it. I always wonder. I feel like there's a lot of people that talk about movies. So like, what do I bring to a conversation about movies that other people aren't already bringing?
Your opinion.
Yeah. But how many people care about my opinion? You always got to wonder that. Like,
why they care?
I know people that know me care, but like, do complete strangers, like, why would they? Like, I guess, why would they care? But I guess everybody listens to complete strangers about movies. That's why movie critics exist, right? But I also feel like movie critics miss the point of movies a lot of times.
Though there's your differentiating factor, right?
Well, how many movies do you see where like a movie will get like bad reviews, but then everybody that I know loves it.
Well,
Or it makes like $150 million because everyone liked it. But the reviews are terrible.
yeah, that happens.
All the
And
time.
I remember watching like those Siskel and Ebert things, but when we were kids and their show, and I used to feel that I always liked the movies that they gave bad ratings to, and I disliked the movies they gave good ratings to. And it's funny because you can watch some of their old episodes like on YouTube now and just see them talk about like a super old movie and they'll like trash it or something. And it's really funny to watch.
Yeah.
It's like really good entertainment like so many years later.
I always find too, like, I've never taken like movie classes or gone to school for movies. So like, I personally don't know if I know what makes a good movie and what makes a bad movie. Like I know what I like and what I don't like. And like, I see like this example. There's a lot of movies that got nominated for the Oscars this year that I'm interested in and I want to see. But a couple of the ones that I've watched, I watch them and I don't understand why people think it's so great. Like it's like I watched, there's one nominated called Banshees of Inisherin. And cause I watched it because I really like Colin Farrell, right? And I watched it. It was fine. I just didn't, but people are like saying it could win like the best picture. And I'm like, maybe I'm missing something. Or just watch, there's a movie with Cate Blanchett called Tar, where she plays like a female like orchestra conductor. I haven't even finished it yet because I was kind of bored. So I'm like, am I missing? I was wondering, am I missing something? Like, what am I not seeing that people think this movie is great? And I'm just like not getting it. But then again, then I see movies that I really like that people don't seem to like. And I'm like, why don't people like this? Seems to be pretty enjoyable. I don't understand why people don't like this.
Yeah. People are so different with their preconceived notions, being judgmental, with all their things going on in their head, distractions that like everybody is so different that it's like there could be so many factors why certain people wouldn't like it. And we like assume that everybody comes in with like a clean slate, gives it a chance, and like that never happens. Sometimes,
well, like as an example, you know that I have a great love for The Rock, like just one of my favorite people on earth, and pretty much I see everything he does. But I think his movies he goes into behind the eight ball already because I think people see it like movie critics and like it's The Rock, so immediately he gets dinged for that, and they don't really get a lot of his movies don't get a chance. I don't think no matter how good he does, I feel like they don't give him the chance he deserves because like I think one, he's become a much better actor than he was 15 years ago when he started making movies. And a lot of his movies are a lot better. Like occasionally he'll make one that's not great, but still enjoyable. But sometimes I watch a movie and I'm like, I don't understand why people don't like this. Like, I just don't get it. I'm like, I smiled for an hour and 45 minutes watching this movie. Why are people hating on it so badly?
It's kind of like when an artist that you love takes their music in a different direction and then you're like, oh, their new album sucks. It's because you want to have that same sound and they're trying to evolve. So they automatically don't really give it a chance. So with The Rock, it's like, yeah, certain artists, you'd be like, oh, I don't like him. I'm not going to watch that movie. Or if it's like a sequel or like a third one or a fourth one, like the Fast and Furious. I know Ludacris is like, he's going on a run promoting it now.
There's not many franchises that I love more than Fast and Furious. They can make 100 of those movies and I'll see every single one of them on opening weekend.
Right, but the whole thing about like sequels are never as good as the original, so automatically that gets a thing. And then all these movies are like remakes of older movies, so it's like there's nothing original anymore.
I think that's very true. That's why there's certain rhythm. Like the movie I saw last night was Knock at the Cabin, which is the new Shyamalan movie. I thought it was great. Like, and Shyamalan has been very hit or miss over the last like decade, right? But this movie I thought was great. Like I was like home run. I enjoyed it the whole time.
I'll have to check it out. Anyway, I don't hear about it. I'm really not that in the loop with movies coming out.
And it's been getting good. It's been getting mixed. I would say mixed reviews. Some people love it, some people don't. But it's another one of those movies where it's like, yeah, I enjoyed it.
So, what are some things that you would say to The Rock if he showed up at your store?
So I've actually thought about this before because, not even a joking, the number one thing on my bucket list is meet The Rock. Number one thing. I would love to meet him. I just think he's just an amazing human being in general.
All right. Then how do you keep him around for 5-10 minutes?
So that's the thing. He is like the one celebrity where I may be too starstruck. Like if I saw him, I don't know if I would know what to say because I would be so like
Right.
like around a teenage girl around Harry Styles. I'd be like, what is going on right now? I would be so unbelievably starstruck.
All right. But now when you're not in front of him, what are the things that you would like that would really make you stand out?
I would just like tell him how much I admire him as a person. Like, regardless of the fact that I watched him as a wrestler, whether I like his movies, I just admire him as like a person. He just seems like a genuinely good person. Like, one of the things that he always talks about is his motto is like, it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. And I don't think a lot of people like who are as big. I mean, he literally is the #1 movie star in the whole world right now. And good luck finding something bad about him. Like a bad interaction he's had with people. He's just like it's so important for him to be nice to people and just like make people's days. Cause like, you don't know that that might be the only time you ever meet that person. And what do you want what their thought of you to be for the rest of their life?
Because he knows that they're going to talk about meeting him for the rest of their lives.
Exactly. So it's like, it might not be as much to him, but for that person, it could be like the coolest thing that ever happens to them.
Yeah.
So like, that to me, I think says a lot about him as a person and his character, that he cares that much about people like that. Like, he gets it. Like, I think in terms of celebrity, I think a lot of celebrities don't realize that without fans, they don't really exist, right? Like, if you don't have people seeing your movies or listening to music,
right, or buying
anything. So like, to take 30 seconds or a minute just to say hi and thanks or whatever, I think means a lot to people. Like, you don't have to have like a 20-minute conversation with somebody, but just be like, hey, I'm a big fan. And then they'll be like, oh, thanks, that's really great. And like, snap a picture or something like that, or do an autograph. I think to some people that could be like the coolest thing that ever happens to them their whole life. So
that'd be cool.
That to me, that's why I like him so much. Just admire him as a person.
Dwayne Johnson, you know what to do. Call in on the next episode. We'll loop you in and we're going to chat about your history. Yeah, that's cool. He's definitely seems like a very likable person. I love how he and Kevin Hart like make fun of each other.
Oh my God, they're like best friends. Everything they do is hilarious. I mean, the movie they did together, Central Intelligence, is probably my favorite movie The Rock's done.
It's funny because you wouldn't think, because The Rock's not really a comedian, but he does so well.
Yeah.
Going back and forth with Kevin Hart.
100%.
So, but he did do comedic stuff in his early wrestling days.
Yeah, he did his rock concerts.
He'd be like, it doesn't matter what your name is.
Yeah.
The funny stuff.
He used to do rock concerts where he would play like parodies, like sing songs about other wrestlers. It was hilarious. It was really great.
I don't remember that.
They were really great. Yeah. But yeah, he's great. I hope they do more stuff together.
Yeah. Do you have a list of your top couple movies from last year, from 2022?
Well, my favorite movie of the year was Top Gun Maverick.
That was good.
100%.
I saw that.
There was a movie called Emily the Criminal that I really liked with Aubrey Plaza, which is on Netflix right now.
Wait, but Tom Cruise, it's so hard to not like him because he's so good.
I love him.
You really like don't want to like him because of the whole Scientology thing, but he's so amazing at like doing his own stunts and just going up to the test for anything.
He cares. That's why. Like, the Scientology thing to me is irrelevant. I don't really care. It's like worrying about if somebody's like Christian or Jewish or who really cares. It doesn't really affect my ability to like the guy.
Well, just everything you hear is Scientology people they're not nice people. They're not good people, the way they treat others in the religion.
Well, so I don't know. I can't speak to that because I don't really know that much about it.
No, and it's fine. You shouldn't have to take that in consideration. I'm just saying, for me, that's how I think about it. But I see him in the movie, and then on the behind the scenes, I'm doing the stunts, and I'm like, this dude is incredible.
But he's another one of those guys. I feel like if I met him, I think he'd be really nice. He seems like a really nice guy. Like, well, that's the thing is that the thing I like about Tom Cruise is he does really seem to care. So one of the coolest stories is, I guess I've heard of him, is the last movie he did, Mission Impossible Fallout. So at the end of that movie, there's this big like helicopter chase scene where he's like flying this helicopter. So he spent like 6 months to a year like getting his helicopter pilot license and learning to fly a helicopter. And then his reasoning behind that was like, the audience is going to know it's not me flying. Like in Top Gun Maverick, that's him like flying F-18s.
Yeah, nobody does that. That's
nobody
crazy.
does that. And like, like if you saw a story tomorrow that like Tom Cruise like died doing a stunt in a movie, would you really be surprised that much? Like the guy does everything. Like he's hanging outside of a plane. He's like climbing on the tallest building in the world in Dubai. Like he's doing all that stuff. Like
Yeah.
nobody does that stuff. Everybody else has stunt doubles. And it's like, you know, and I think it's because he cares about the authenticity of his movies. Like I think he gets that Mission Impossible is kind of like ridiculous, but in a good way. Like in the missions that he do,
Like over the top.
exactly. But it doesn't make a difference. Like I mean, that's a franchise that's gotten better as it's gotten more volumes, which never happens. I mean, Fallout might have been the best one, and it was the 6th one. That never happens. So, like to me, it shows how much he cares about his audience to put that effort forth. Because he could easily get a stunt double to do all that stuff for him.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do that much work.
I mean, there's a video that was going around of him doing a stunt for the new one that's coming out this year, where he's riding a dirt bike off of a cliff into a base jump, and he's doing it, and you can just see the director's just like, please don't let Tom Cruise die doing this.
He must be some sort of adrenaline junkie. But I mean, there's probably a lot of factors about him, but nobody does that. Like no top actors are doing stunts like that. Or I mean, I also think about like he has everything in the world that he wants, so why not get adrenaline rush by doing something like this?
Or he just doesn't have fear. He just like, maybe he's just not afraid of it. Just like, I want to do it.
Yeah, that's a great quality to have, is like if you couldn't fail at anything, what would you do? And he might have that mentality.
I mean, like I said, I think it's just because he wants to make the movie as like real as possible for an audience. I personally think that's why. I think he cares about the audience, and I think he cares about his movies.
He cares about the art form of the film industry.
He wants people to know that it's him doing these crazy things, because it also makes it more exciting when you know that it's Tom Cruise doing it, right? Like you ever watch those movies and like they show the far off and you can kind of tell it's a stunt double, and it kind of takes you out of it a little bit, even though you get why they're doing it, but you can kind of clearly tell it's not the person.
Well, if that's the case, it's refreshing to know that someone who is at the top of the celebrity status like him is doing this, trying to preserve the authenticity of filmmaking instead of some C or D-list person that nobody really knows that is trying to do everything the authentic way and preserve the culture and save the film industry from being authentic, when it's just like an uphill battle, whereas Tom will get a lot of eyes on him for that, and he can make a bigger impact.
I mean, it's not like he needs to do it or needs the money. He could just easily sit back and collect checks and just be in the acting scenes, and people would still go see the movies and they'd probably still make a ton of money. But I think one of the reasons those movies make $1 billion is because people know that Tom Cruise is doing that stuff. You know, people want to see it.
I agree. Well, not just that he's doing it.
New Mission Impossible is definitely on one of my most anticipated movies of this year list, easily.
But they're great movies in addition to him doing all those stunts. You said something before about you don't know what makes a good movie, but I think it's the same thing when people say, if somebody doesn't know anything about wine and they're drinking with somebody who does know something about wine, the person that doesn't know will say, I don't know if this is good or not. I'm not a wine connoisseur. And then the person that does know will say, well, do you like the taste?
Yeah.
Does it taste good? Just simple.
I mean, it's all subjective, right? It's like everything, taste is an opinion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even saying something is good, it's still just your opinion. Even if 100 people say it's good and 2 people say it's bad, like it's still just your opinion. Like doesn't necessarily, just because everyone says it's good doesn't mean it is, you know? Or if just because everyone says something's bad doesn't mean it is. If you like it, you like it. Like whatever you want.
Mm-hmm. Then what do you think makes a good movie in your opinion?
For me, it's just something that I can sit back and I enjoy, and then I would go back and like rewatch. I think that's a big factor for me, is rewatchability factor. Like, I mean, there's definitely good movies that are like, you watch them once and they're tough to if you like, because they're such a hard subject matter. Like a Schindler's List movie, right? That's not a movie you're going to rewatch like all the time. It's obviously an excellent film, but it's not like a huge rewatch film. But it's still a good movie.
Yeah.
But like a movie like Beverly Hills Cop, I could rewatch that like forever. Or like Moneyball, it's a great movie, and it's got a huge rewatchability factor. But there are movies that like, I think that's a big factor for me. It's like if I want to see it again, like it's good.
Probably the movie I've seen the most times would be Coming to America.
It's a great movie. High rewatchability factor.
Very, very good. But, you know, there's some movies that have an advantage over others because they're seasonal. So like the Christmas stuff, like
Yeah.
Home Alone, high rewatchable, but also you kind of like, it has an advantage because it's out there when it's Christmas time. And same with A Christmas Story.
Or Christmas Vacation.
I don't see that. That's National Lampoon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see that as much out there, but it does have that value. But like A Christmas Story, they play that 24/7.
Yep, during Christmas.
For a straight 24 hours. So that's kind of unfair.
Yeah, not a real movie. You're going to probably pop in May, right? Just you're like, I want to watch, chilling on Memorial Day weekend. I'm going to watch Christmas Story.
I could watch Elf though on like in the summertime. Yeah. That would be okay. But National Lampoon, that's classic.
Home Alone, I think, has a good watch. I think you can watch that whenever. I don't know if necessarily it has a Christmas theme, but I think you can watch that whenever. Just so enjoyable.
But you also don't want the movie to be too long, even if it's good, right? I couldn't finish. What's that new? The Irishman. The
Irishman, yeah.
I never finished it. It was because it wasn't interesting enough for my taste that I just kind of got bored.
I think,
but I've heard amazing things about it.
I think a lot of movies nowadays are too long. Now, I'm not against like a long movie, but I do think there's a lot of movies that come out that don't need to be as long as they are, and I think it's affecting like people wanting to go see them in a theater, right? There's a difference between, because like if you see a 2.5 hour movie, you're not seeing a 2.5 hour movie, right? You're seeing like you're driving to the theater, you're waiting, you're getting your ticket, you're sitting through previews, commercials, possibly credits. You're probably sitting there 3.5 hours total, right? So like there's a big difference between a 2 hour movie and a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah, and I would not want to see it in the theater because I'd have to take like a bunch of bathroom breaks and then you miss it. And then it's just like.
Well, I saw the new Avatar movie like a month or two ago. And that's 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Too much.
I managed to sit through the whole thing. Didn't get up at all.
No.
But that was actually I thought it was a very quick 3 hours. Like, was there things in the movie? Like, I'm not going to tell James Cameron, obviously, how to do his job. Were there things in it that I thought could be shorter? Probably. But like, also, I think there's something to like earning a runtime, right? Like, one of my favorite movies of the last 10 years is Avengers Endgame, right? And it's like 2 hours and 45 minutes, almost 3 hours, right? I think that was an earned runtime because that was the culmination of like 21 movies or something like that.
That's fair.
So you like want that. But like if you just come out with like a random movie with a subject matter, like that Tar movie I was watching is like 2 hours and 37 minutes. And it just wasn't, I don't know, it just wasn't interesting me after a while. Like that's the other thing. If I'm in a movie at a theater, I'm not interested, I'm going to sit that out. Because I'm like, I'm in a theater, I'm going to watch the whole movie. If I'm at home, I will just turn it off. Like there's definitely movies that I never finished the movie. Like Christopher Nolan's movie Tenet, I never finished that. I probably won't finish this Tar movie. Like it's just like, I'm like, I'd rather just do something else with my time. But like I think it's also affecting people wanting to go see some of these movies in the theater. Like Steven Spielberg, right? He might be one of my favorite directors of all time. And he's got that new movie out, The Fabelmans, just kind of autobiographical, nominated for Best Picture of the Year, one of the front runners. It's 2.5 hours long. But like, I don't know if that's a movie that's any different watching it at home versus watching it in theaters, right? Because like if you're at a theater, you want a movie that's like a kind of a spectacle and has like really pulls you into the movie, right? But like a kind of your average adult drama, well, I like seeing those in theaters. I think the average person doesn't see a difference in paying the money for a theater versus just like waiting for it to stream on like Peacock or Netflix, and then you can watch it at your own leisure, right? And this is why some of these movies are like, these movies that maybe 20 years ago would have done $80 to $100 million are doing like less than half that now.
Well, I do see the value in seeing a movie in the theater. It's a much better experience. However, there's been countless times where I do feel like the experience is taken away by all these external factors in the theater from everybody else.
I agree.
So that for me personally, that's why I would choose to just watch it here on my TV when it comes out. And then going to the movies would be like maybe like a date thing or just like a kind of once in a while thing, but not a consistent thing. But hey, man, you're better than me.
Well, I probably see more movies by myself than anything because I mean, to me, I don't really think you need like a group of people to go to a movie too, right? You're not supposed to talk anyway. If I'm by myself, I will politely ask people to stay. Like if I hear somebody talking, they're distracting, I will politely get up and walk over to somebody and ask them, "Hey, man, I'm really trying to watch a movie. You guys could keep it down. That'd be nice." Like I'm not going to be a dick about it, but I'm just going to nicely be like, "Hey, I'm trying to watch this movie." Like I don't have a problem getting up and asking people to like be quiet. Like I probably wouldn't do that if I was with like my family, but by myself I might do it. But it's also situational because, unfortunately, in this day and age, you never know what people are going to do just from asking them to be quiet. So, depends. But my feeling is like if you want to talk, watch the movie at home, right? Don't come to the theater if you want to have a conversation.
Well, it'd be nice if people were considerate.
Yeah. Well, that's another reason I like when I see a lot of movies. I see them like during the day.
That's smart.
Like I'll see like a 12:30 show, 1:00 show where there's less crowds. Like the only movies I really see like opening weekends like I like Marvel movies. So I'll go like opening night, which I don't mind because like most of the people are fans, so they're going to be quiet during the movie because they want to watch the movie. But like, sometimes you'll go to like a 9:00 show or something, and then you got a bunch of teenagers who are there and like making a bunch of noise. That's why I'm glad. Like, actually, AMC just started doing a thing where like, after 8:00, you have to be if you're under 18, you have to be with a parent. So nobody under 18 allowed after 8:00 without a parent, which I think is a really good policy.
That's good. It'll help a little bit.
Yes.
Not a lot, but okay. Something.
It's something.
We were talking about YouTube before. There's this really popular guy named Mr. Beast. You might have heard of him.
Big fan.
Do you know about this last video that he did? I don't know the whole story, but the last video was about helping 1,000 people see.
Yeah.
And then there was like a backlash about it.
Yeah, saw it.
So what do you know about what happened?
I've watched parts of the video. I've watched the whole thing. But it was basically like this surgery that is apparently like...
it's like a cataract surgery.
Yeah, it's like... It like works 100% of the time, but it's expensive and it's like not covered under like health insurance or something like that. So we decided to just like go to like a poorer place and like pay for 1,000 people to get the surgery so they could like see. And I'm like, yeah, what's the downside of that?
Yeah, it seems pretty cool to me.
And then, but unfortunately in this day and age, people always got to find some way to like rag on something. Can't just enjoy things for being people doing something nice. People are just like, oh, he's just doing it for views. He doesn't really care. And it's like, even if that was true, which it's not, because he definitely doesn't seem like a person who's like that. He helped 1,000 people see again. So maybe we just chill out with that. Who cares? Why? Ultimately, like, does the reasoning matter if he helped 1,000 people see again?
He seems like a good dude. I saw his podcast on Lex Friedman.
I saw his Joe Rogan podcast. I thought it was a good one too. He's very intelligent with the way he like runs his channel. So I know the most interesting thing I took away from him was like they like were like the first YouTube channel to like dub all their stuff into other languages.
Yeah.
And he like hired like famous people from those countries so they would know the voice. And I'm like, that's genius.
So smart.
Like, why did nobody ever think of that before?
He'll spend like $2 million to make a video.
Yeah. He doesn't really make much money from his videos. He just likes making content.
Throws it all back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just genuinely just wants to make the best videos possible.
Yeah. And I mean, you can't fault a guy for being like, hey, let me give this regular person my credit card to spend as much money as you want in the next 10 minutes. Like, okay, why are you mad at that? Why are we mad at that?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So yeah, I think he's doing a good thing.
Or when he opens up a car dealership and just gives away cars. Yeah, people need cars and he's giving them away. Seems like a pretty good dude to me.
When I watched him on Lex Friedman, he was talking about this idea that I don't know if he's fully committed to it, but there are people that will be making content, making videos. It could be daily blogs or whatever, and stuff like 6 months worth of content to be released once they die. So like you kind of like live on the internet or live after you die.
Yeah.
And I can see the value in it where you could say, here's how I think about things, and this is what really happened to me. Or you could have like people that just are so vain that they're like, today I'm going to the beach and I'm going to show you how to make a sandcastle.
I mean, it's kind of like when they release like unreleased tracks from artists after they die, right?
Yeah, it's
A
cool.
little bit like that. Everyone wants to leave like a legacy, right? So I guess people are just preparing for that kind of thing, like try to not be forgotten after you go, you know?
Yeah, because when you look at somebody, their like social media after they've passed, you don't want their last. They wouldn't want other people seeing their last post to be like, Taco Bell sucks,
Yeah.
or maybe they would.
Because I mean, I think a lot of these people who are like on YouTube or TikTok or whatever, like if they like disappeared tomorrow, I don't know if people would be like worse off. Like I don't know if anyone's bringing that much value to a lot of that stuff. Like I'm not a big like I don't have TikTok. I don't really watch a lot of YouTubers except for a couple select ones. But like I don't know, there's not that much value to a lot. I feel like a lot of that stuff is staged anyway. So I don't know. I feel if a lot of that stuff when people are just doing things specifically for views now. And I'm like, it's not into that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, there are some people that do like real pranks, real skits, or I guess
Some.
pranks that they are more like purists than others, but
And this is one, I mean,
most aren't.
the one real prank I've really seen that's really funny. Have you ever seen the guys who do the shampoo prank at the beach?
Yeah,
Those are really, really funny.
Watching never-ending shampoo.
Yeah, watching people get so mad and they don't understand like why they're.
That would be so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean it's so funny to watch those videos, and people get like legit mad at those guys.
Yeah, like I would too. I would too if that happened to me.
I mean, the other guy I like to watch on YouTube. So my son and I got into watching. It's this guy named his name is Adam. His channel is Beard Meets Food. He's this British competitive eater.
I know who you're talking about.
And he has this really long beard. And his videos are incredibly entertaining.
He has an endless stomach.
Well, apparently he used to be like an amateur bodybuilder. And then he just discovered his like love of eating. And he's like one of the 10 he's a top 10 like competitive ranked eater in the world or something like that.
Yeah, he'll go to any place that has a food challenge and beat it.
He did one in Cherry Hill just a couple months back at the Kibitz Room, yeah. Which was kind of cool.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean,
that's kind of cool.
I don't think he really announces where he's going before he does it. So I didn't even know he was there until like weeks after when he was like talking about how he was there. Big fan of that. But then there's other guys like because through his channel I started watching some of these other guys and just like I'm very impressed with how much people can eat. There's very few things that I watch and think I could do that. There's so much food.
There is a Twitch streamer, QT Princess. And she's very popular streamer, vlogger, whatever. And then I went to look at her videos, some of her other videos. And there was one where she like went to Disney and she has her camera with her. And it's like, all right, now we're going on the trolley. All right, ooh, look at this. And she's just filming everything, every adventure, all the staff, like everything. And to me, I'm just like, man, like people are so narcissistic in this world.
And people pay her to do that. Like people give her money on her stream to do that stuff, which is crazy to me. Twitch is one of those things I don't understand.
You have to be on Twitch. You have to stream on Twitch for like several hours out of a day, like up to 8 hours to really like start making money on that stuff. And I was like, I'm not going to have the time to build up a presence on that.
Well, my thing with Twitch is like, so, a lot of Twitch is people gaming, right? Well, for me, like growing up and playing video games, like the worst part about playing video games was watching somebody else waiting for your turn. So to want to like go on the internet and watch somebody else play a video game, I don't know. Maybe it's a generational thing. I mean, I get why people want to do it, but it doesn't seem like fun to me.
I don't do it either.
Yeah.
It's not fun to me.
But there's guys who make tens of millions of dollars streaming games every year, like games like Fortnite and Halo and Madden. And it's like, yeah, they're really good and that's impressive. But why do people want to watch them play it? I don't get it
either. I do not get it. Somebody comment what is so interesting about watching a Twitch streamer play a video game, let alone for hours. I don't get it. I do remember when
And paying them while you're watching.
like it's an OnlyFans
Yeah.
subscription. I remember when Xbox 360 came out or something like that, where it was like the first system where you had a headset and you could be online. Well, and you could be online playing with other people
Yeah.
from around the world or whatever country. Everybody was just talking shit. You're playing these games,
Yeah.
and everyone was like, yelling at each other or making fun of each other. And I was just like, this is stupid. But I lost interest in video games after high school anyway. So it was just never appealed to me. But it's a different world that I'm
Yeah, I've never
not
really
familiar
been. I think I played Madden online a couple times against people, but for me, I always thought video games were more fun to play with your friends. Playing with a complete stranger really does nothing for me. Like if I'm playing like a complete stranger in Madden and I win or lose, like why do I care? Like I don't know, there's no stakes.
It was better when like GoldenEye was the game that changed everything.
And I think they're re-releasing that actually.
Because you have four friends come over and you're all playing GoldenEye and you could just play.
I still have that game and my original N64 at home.
You could just play all night long, pull an all-nighter doing that.
100%.
But I also remember games like NBA Hang Time for 64 and Mario Kart 64, which was my favorite video game ever. And
I have that too still.
So many games that we would just sit around and play for hours together in the same room. That stuff brings me back. I would like doing that even if I don't play video games anymore. That stuff's really fun. But yeah, I just feel like an old man.
Yeah, well now I'm kind of getting
these kids.
I won't say I'm getting back into video games, but definitely play more than I used to now that my son's getting into video games. Like he really likes playing the Mario games and stuff like that. And I actually just borrowed like a PS4 from somebody, and it's because I wanted to play this like Spider-Man game, and it's awesome, and the graphics are insane.
That's cool.
And I'm like, wow, this is so much fun. But I just don't have like the time to dedicate to video games. Like people have like, oh, this game is like a 30-hour game. I'm like, I guess I might be able to find 30 hours, but do I want to find 30 hours to dedicate to like one game?
I remember I was in like middle school or high school and Final Fantasy VII came out for PlayStation 2, one of those. And I couldn't even finish that.
Long.
It was like a huge like book that came with it or you could buy for it to show you how to play it. But man, this game took hours and hours and hours. I was like, I ain't playing this anymore.
Yeah.
And I went to play like NBA Live 97.
I know, I've always been more into sports games. It's like a finite amount of time that you'll play. Like NBA Jam or NBA Live or Madden, those kind of games. I was always into the sports games.
I had like NBA Live 97, I remember, and I would do like a whole season with the team, and I would just play like every team, and I would back-to-back games like all day long.
I didn't even realize I was like looking. I still have like all my old systems, and I think it's NBA Live 95 for Super Nintendo, which is like the last video game that Michael Jordan has his name on before he wouldn't let his likeness in, before he wouldn't let his name in games anymore, which is pretty cool to like play a game and it's like, oh, Jordan's actually on that game.
Did you know that, the NBA Jam arcade, they released some of them with Jordan in it?
Yep.
Before it was like they had to take it off. Mm-hmm. But that's cool. Those probably go for a lot.
Probably.
Yeah.
I found out, I was looking through my games the other day and I found this little file and it has all these like yellow papers in it with all the NBA Jam codes on it when I was a kid.
Codes. And
I can't believe I still have it. Like to get all the secret characters and stuff like that. I was like, one, my handwriting was a lot neater back then. And two, I can't believe this has survived for like 25 plus years.
Yeah, I don't have anything like that.
It's crazy.
I don't have any old memory things like that.
But no, it's like an actual multiple sheets of paper with just like codes on it. I'm like, how did this thing survive for so long through multiple houses and apartments and things like that? And just somehow I still have this.
That is funny.
Yeah. Old video games are still the best.
Thanks everyone for watching. Subscribe, leave a comment, say hi to Mike, and I will see you next time.